Boyfriend cheated on me, but I can't leave him. I, F26, am with my boyfriend, M32, and our relationship is a bit complicated. We were together 10 years ago but broke up because we were both very young and made mistakes. After 10 years, he contacted me again, saying he never forgot me and that I was his first love. He wants to build a life with me, and I have been living with him for the past 4 months to see if it would work out for marriage. He has proposed to me several times. However, during these 4 months, he cheated on me 3 times. The first time was during the talking phase, so I forgave him and even thanked him for his honesty. The second time, he went to a club with his friends and had some drinks with girls. That upset me, but he promised nothing more happened. Now, the third time, I went to my mother's for the weekend and found out he went to a club again and made out with a girl. I discovered this by looking at his phone. The girl had texted him asking if he got home safely. This time, he promised me it was the last time and that he would prove it by not going out at night anymore and doing everything I ask of him. He has contacted me in different ways, crying and promising that it's gonna be the last time. This man has shown me he is serious about our relationship. He introduced me to his parents, sisters, and friends, and he treats me like a princess whenever we are together. He gives me little gifts, takes good care of me, and comforts me when I feel down. He even travels 400 kilometers to see me when I am at my mother's, just to do a little attention. He makes me feel like a queen. I think this man really loves me. Whenever he talks about me to his family or friends, he calls me his wife. It's only been a few months that we have been dating and living together. He has given me intense moments of love, attention, kindness, and nights out whenever I want it. But he has also cheated on me, and I can't bear it. It's been 3 days since we broke up, and he hasn't stopped calling and messaging me from different numbers because I blocked his. I want to forgive him, but I don't want it to happen again because each time it hurt me deeply. I felt betrayed, and my self-confidence hit rock bottom. Yet, deep down, I think I am very happy with him. I just want him to regret what he did and ensure it won't happen again. What should I do? I can't stop thinking about it, and it's interfering with my professional and social life. I'm trying to find a solution, but I can't come up with one. I really need help and opinions. I cannot leave him, I just can't. I want to stop feeling this, and to find a way to forgive him and trust him again. And now to the next story, story 2. Girl wants to leave the scene of an accident because of her politics. I was on a date with this girl who'd been great so far. It was our 3rd time out. We were going to a concert. I was driving. It was going really well, and we were ahead of schedule when we witnessed a car accident. Car A was stopped at a green. No hazards or turn signal or anything oncoming towards them. Just sitting there. A green to green cycle occurs. So, it's a fresh green. The car directly behind car A, car B, gives a polite honk to car A. Nothing happens. The light turns red again. On the next green, car B drives around car A. Just as car B goes to drive around, car A turns, no signal, and smashes into car B. Car B comes to a stop. Car A drives off. I immediately got out and went to check on car B's driver. His car was banged up pretty good, but, thank God, he was fine. Other Good Samaritans had stopped by this point and were helping to attend to car B and making sure nobody ran into him while he was stopped, so I went back to move my car somewhere safe. First, though, I said to the girl I was driving with, I guess we better call 911 and let the police know about all this. And she said, appalled, don't do that. You said he's fine. Let's just go. I couldn't believe she was so fixated on us making the concert that she was suggesting we just skip out on the scene of an accident. I figured I'd get my car off the road, then assess the situation. There was too much going on at once. I hoped I must be misunderstanding her. I found a suitable place to pull off, and when I'd come back, police had already arrived. I was hanging around, waiting to talk to them. One told me they'd want to take my statement in a bit, but I'd already figured as much. I was overhearing them talking to car B's driver, and they asked if he had a dash cam or anything like that. That's when I remembered. I have a dash cam. I hadn't thought of it because I wasn't driving my usual car, My brother let me borrow his for the date. My driving us both to the concert was last minute when she suggested we both go together to save on parking. I offered to do it, trying to be a gentleman, but my car's a pigsty, and I didn't have time to properly clean it. I wanted to make a decent first impression, so my brother's car was the backup. I went to the car to pop the camera off its holder. I wasn't sure how to extract the video's data, but figured they'd know. The girl I was with asked me what I was doing and pretty excited about the whole thing. I explained I'd probably captured the incident with the dash cam, so I was going to bring it over to the police. She grabbed my wrist, like, with force. Gripped my wrist is more like it, and yanked me back into the front seat. I thought maybe another car was coming or something. She gave me a heart attack. "You can't do that," she gasped, like I'd told her I was going to ram the guy a second time for some insurance money of my own. "Let's just go," she insisted. I couldn't believe it. That was a total turnoff for me. One of the things that had most attracted me to the girl in the first place was her compassion for others, service-oriented profession, and seemingly deep capacity for empathy. This was out of left field. I told her we had to stay around until the crash had been resolved, since we were witnesses. The police would want to talk to me. Probably her too. She emphasized again, "You can't do that." "What? Do what?" I asked, trying to figure out what I was missing. "You can't talk to the police," she said, like it was cancerous. Still confused, I thought she meant I shouldn't insert myself into an active crime scene or whatever. So I explained the police had already let me know while I was over there that they definitely want my statement. She goes, "You, a white male, are just going to cooperate with police?" Of course. First of all, she's white. Second of all, the driver of car B was black. I gave up on trying to understand and told her, "I think I'm probably missing something here." And she replied, "Yeah, about 3 centuries of systemic marginalization and oppression." I felt like I was reading a hoax article in the New York Post. I told her the obvious, that the impacted driver was black and probably wanted the incriminating dash cam footage of the person who hit his car. She has the nerve to go, "He doesn't know what he wants. He's probably too scared. You have to help him." I was having trouble computing what she'd said, and I was still pretty excited that I had dash cam footage. So I told her the police had already let me know I had to give a statement, so I was pretty sure leaving at that point would be illegal, but that I'd be right back. I mean, she couldn't get mad at me for following the law, right? Wrong. When I got back, she was gone. Haven't heard from her since. Even after I reached out to be sure she made it home okay. Probably for the best we didn't make it any further. Next story, Story 3. A pool party and an entitled mom. Hello, I remembered this gym from a few years ago and think this will be perfect for this channel. Also, apologies for this being so long, so much happened here that I just remembered. Also, I'm a junior in high school, currently on summer break, about to be a senior. This happened back in 2019 when I was in 6th grade summer break going on to 7th grade. On that day, I was invited to a pool party for my dad's friend's daughter returning from vacation in Mexico with her grandmother. We'll call the daughter ED, entitled daughter. Well, ED was just returning and wanted to go swimming. She just got a pool built in her backyard that looked identical to mine, just hers had a hot tub, ours did not. I expected to just go to EM house, entitled mom, because she lived next door. Turns out the party wasn't at her house. I assumed this meant we would be going to a friend's house in the neighborhood, but no. We all hopped into the car to head to the public pool. I was cool with it. Thankfully, my mom gave me money for food just in case the pool party wasn't at somebody's house. We get to the pool just for EM to expect us to pay for our own bracelets. I'm cool with it due to having my own money, but I was confused. I assumed since she invited us out, she was paying for us. I pay for my ticket, but I turn to see my friends. I'll call them Esmeralda and Ashley. Esmeralda is the younger one of the sisters, close to ED age, and the older sister Ashley is about my age. They both didn't bring any money because we thought we were swimming at somebody's house and not a public pool. EM started scolding them and paid, mumbling about how their mom owes them now. Isabella, the youngest there, paid for herself because her family had gave her money. Lastly, ED older cousin by 3 years was paid for only because he's family and his mom was sending money to his aunt when he stayed there. So we finally get in and I'm really hungry and decided I'm going to eat first because I skipped breakfast, I think. I got a lot of food due to my mom giving me $20. From what I remember, I got a hot dog, some chips, ice cream, and slushie. I understand how crazy it was that I ate that, but I had some issues at the time at home. To sum it, because I don't feel like getting too into it, basically to sum it up, I ate whatever I wanted when I wasn't home because my family was controlling over food. I also had health issues that made me eat more plus medication. Anyways, EM looked at me in disgust and said, "You shouldn't eat all that because," she wandered off. I knew what she was trying to say, but she remembered that my dad is friends with her fiancé, and if she said what she was planning to say, it can cause issues. So she remembered something that she thought would work. She said, "Your mom wouldn't be okay with you eating all that." I responded, but I don't recall what it was that I told her. I got into the pool after eating and played in the water for a bit. Every time I lightly splashed, my friend Ashley or EDEM would get mad and yell at me and Ashley because we were the oldest and should act our age. We were also then expected to watch the little kids and follow them around. Me and Ashley didn't want to, but did so because it got embarrassing being stared at by everyone when EM would yell at us. Me and Ashley barely got to do what we wanted in the pool. Mind you, me and Ashley are in 6th and 7th grade watching a 4th grader, 3rd grader, and a 2nd grader, instead of enjoying the pool. If me and Ashley knew we were going to be used as unpaid babysitters, we would have stayed home and swam at my house. The kids got out of the pool because they got hungry. So we followed. I also wanted a popsicle because it hit 103 degrees at that time. When we first got to the pool, it was about 95 degrees. EM side-eyed me and said, "You don't need any more food because I ate 4 hours ago." We were at this pool for about 9 hours in total. I said, "I know, but I just want a popsicle." So she allowed me to take my coin purse back and buy one. At first, she said I have to give the other kids the rest of my money so they can eat. I lied and said popsicles were $2, and I only have 2 left. EM got upset and scolded me, saying I shouldn't have gotten all that food and now the other wouldn't get to eat. I brought my own money and so did Isabella. EM pulled out $5 and told them to share, but when Isabella refused the money saying she had her own, EM asked how much she had, and she said she had $30 or $40, but her mom said it's only for her and to return the rest to her mom. EM took back her $5 and said Isabella has to pay for all the kids because she has the most money and her mom would be fine with it. Also, EM never paid back Isabella's mom. The kids cost her $30. I got a popsicle and I bought the last Sour Patch Kids, which was for my older brother because he was super nice to me that week. I enjoyed 2 popsicles and placed the candy in my bag secretly because I didn't want to let the other kids see the candy. EM shamed Jack, Isabella, ED, and Esmeralda for what they got. I shared with Ashley some of my food because we were super close. EM was mad that I didn't share with her daughter ED. We went swimming again afterwards and came back a few hours later to EM complaining about random stuff then wanting to leave. So we packed up our stuff and Ashley was complaining about hunger to me quietly to not be scolded by EM for not making Isabella pay for her meal. So I gave her a few Sour Patch Kids because I accidentally opened the box when I grabbed my clothes. I put the box back quietly, and then I turned to EM, who was shaming me for buying candy and not sharing with the other kids. She then says, "OP, you need to share with the other kids because you ate enough for today." When the other kids heard I had candy, they all ran up begging for candy. When I tried to explain to EM the candy is mainly for my brother, she accused me of lying and said I had to share. The kids ran to my bag and excited for candy, and EM took the candy from my bag and shared it between all the kids. After give the kids handfuls of candy, she gave me and Ashley 3 pieces each for being greedy. The only thing that kept me looking forward to this day was going to pick up ice cream at an ice cream shop. As soon as we got close though, EM said we don't deserve ice cream and said we will get some at her house. As soon as we get there, we got mini Otter Pops. Ashley declined because she wanted ice cream and went home to get some from her house. Everyone else, shockingly enough, including me, got an Otter Pop. Only half though, because we didn't deserve a full Otter Pop. It was also the mini Otter Pops. I went home disappointed but didn't tell my parents for fear of getting in trouble for the food I ate. And now one more story, story 4. taking matters into my own hands because of entitled coworkers. A few years ago, I used to work at a large retail company on the overnight shift at the time. As many who have worked in retail probably know, inventory time is a big deal as it can determine whether we get a bonus or not, on top of having to do extra training if the shrinkage amount is really high. We had these devices that were used to do things like add or subtract items from inventory, print labels, keep track of what bins inventory was in, and so forth. Well, this one particular store, the department managers had talked the store manager into allowing them to store these devices in their lockers at the end of their shifts, which means no one else on any shift could use them, except in one department that needed the device to assist customers. About 4 weeks prior to inventory, I asked the co-manager to have these devices left for us so that we can start getting the back rooms ready for inventory, which means getting labels on all the boxes and then the amount that is in each box, and if there is a row of the same item, to put the correct amount for all the items of that particular item on the label. Day shift wouldn't do this because they were always too busy. For the next 2 weeks, we were never left any of these devices to get the back rooms completed. This will have been my 8th or 9th inventory, so I know that come inventory time, if the back rooms aren't done, it is always blamed on the overnight manager. So I spent my 2 days off, and bear in mind I'm salary, so I don't get paid for this time. At work getting the back stockroom completed, this was about 20 extra hours of unpaid time. I had come in early enough both shifts to be sure to get one of these devices before they were locked away in their lockers. My co-manager had seen me doing this when he came in the first morning, and he asked me why I was there, being it was my night off. I told him that since my numerous requests to have the devices available for us hadn't been done, I was there to get the bins in order. I figured when I came back for my next shift after my 2 unpaid nights that we would have some of these devices available for us to keep up on any leftover stock that needed to be put away in the bins. I was wrong. When I came in and seen that there were none left for us, to say I was pissed is putting it lightly. All that time spent, unpaid, and these department managers still think these devices should be kept to themselves. So, I went to the HR office and got the locker binder. In this binder is the combination to all the padlocks on each locker. I also grabbed a flashlight and began going through every locker that was assigned to a department manager, and if I saw one of the devices in the locker, I opened it and took out the device. Luckily, the area had cameras, so it was easy to see what I took out of a locker. I found every device we had, put them in a shopping cart, and handed them out to the associates. Each one had a huge smile on their face and told me thanks. Around 6 a.m., I had the associates bring the devices back and put them in another shopping cart because the last hour of the shift is spent cleaning up and zoning the aisle, meaning making all the product on the shelves look straight. Then I waited for the department managers to come in. They started trickling in around 6:45 a.m., and when they had seen the devices sitting in a shopping cart, well, you would have thought that someone had just taken their firstborns from them. Generally, what happens with me is the co-manager comes to the assistant's office. I get up and go walk the floor with him to see if there was anything I had missed or whatever. This morning, however, when he came to the office, I went to get up, and he basically said, "Hold on, the store manager wants to talk to me first." I asked, "Am I in trouble?" He said, "Don't know, but I'll let you know." So, I waited a bit until he came and got me, and we started on our walk. I asked him if I was in trouble and pled my case about having asked for the devices for the last 2 weeks and got nothing. He said no, but if I decide to do this type of thing again, to at least warn him first. I had heard from some of the other assistant managers before I left that some of the department managers were really pissed and said I should be coached because how dare I go through their lockers. What they apparently didn't know was that company policy actually stated that company equipment is not to be left in lockers after their work shift, and if it is, we have the authority to go through their lockers and find it. I left and expected to once again not have the devices available for us because I was sure the department managers would get their way. When I came in that night, every device was sitting in an office for us to use, and it stayed that way every night up though inventory. The funny thing is there was a song that was playing when the department managers had started coming in, and it was such a fitting song that now whenever I hear it I think of this event. The song was Not Ready to Make Nice by the Dixie Chicks, as they were known back then. I don't think I did anything wrong, but I'm pretty sure the department managers thought so.